Hey everybody, hope you have a lovely day. Now, I honestly believe this is one of the most valuable videos I've done in a long time. It's a coaching session with a student where we covered all the key aspects of driving. So basically you're getting a coaching video yourself, since most of this will apply to you too. It covers everything in my opinion, and it's that video that I wish I had when I first started sim racing. So if you find value at any point, please use the like and subscribe button. Helps me know that you enjoy it and also helps the channel grow. So let's dive into it. So first things first, let's talk just about exploiting the track in the beginning. Because look, here you're starting to brake and there's quite a lot of space here on the white line. So what you need to do is to actually brush this grass in this corner. It will make a huge difference since this corner leads to a big straight. So just by opening the corner up a little bit more, you can gain like 0.05 or in some cases a whole tenth just from this little space. So what I want you to try is when you're braking, you should almost hear the grass. Not touching it, but almost hear it when the tire is close. Here, for example, the reason why you're doing a slight lift in this corner sometimes, especially in the opening laps, like in the first lap, you're doing a bigger lift here, is because
the tire is not cold.
Yeah, but even with cold tires, you can take it flat if you have the right line.
Really?
Yeah. So,
okay.
So the reason why you kind of do a small lift here and your competition will always gain time on you here, it's because we're not cutting enough. Like in this corner, what you should be aiming for is the left tire being close here to the grass like this. Now I want you to focus on where the left tire is in both cases. You see your left tire is kind of here, where in the other case, you see the left tire is much more towards the grass. You see the big, you see how big this difference is? So this is just an example. Look here, another example on the curbs. Like you're using a little bit of the curb, like the beginning, but why not use everything? It's a little bit more bumpy when you're going from the top to the bottom. I agree. Like when you're from here, we are transitioning to this part. The curb has a little bit of a downward part. It's almost shaped like this. So yeah, in a way you feel like the tire is going a little bit off, but the advantage of using that curb is superior. You see?
Yeah.
You're basically aligning yourself with the grass. Same here.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to be on the gravel. And I'm just going to go fast forward to give you a couple more examples in the lap, so you'll be a lot more prepared with this. This was very good. More space to be used here, so didn't push enough speed. This was good. Good track usage here as well. Here, this is very poor track usage. So you kind of do these mistakes, unfortunately, in the most important corners with the track usage. Like with this is the second most important corner of the track after turn one, because it leads to a huge straight. So if you're able to be milliseconds earlier on the gas, you're going to be gaining a lot of time. Because of this, we want to force ourselves to use this part of the curb. You see, you're turning from this angle. You see the difference, turning from the top of the curb versus turning from the white line. This alone is more than 1/10. You need to be hitting this curb with the left tire to open up more. So right now your tire is on the white line. I'm going to show you here. Look at where the left tire is. You see, on the curb, left tire on the curb to open up. Once again, another 0.5 around here. Too wide. You get too wide here. You get too, you see, you don't seem to open up enough.
Here I was like going into the corner too fast.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So this is just by using more track. Now let's take the lap from the beginning and talk about the actual racing technique.
I used to do more like open wheel cars. Not too much.
It shows because it shows in your braking technique. Because if you look here at the braking, you have this style of braking when you're braking very hard initially and you're always dropping off. The way that you should be braking, it's much more simpler than this. The way that you should be braking is this. without those ups and downs. So basically, you need to brake softer and hold it flat for longer. Instead of peaking hard initially, I'm going to put it with blue. You can do this instead. And trail brake a little bit more. The reason why you're going up and down right now is because you're braking way too hard initially. You notice that the car is decelerating too quickly. Then you release it. You release it again because you feel like the car is going too slow. But then, because you release too much, because it's very hard to control, you feel right now that the car is going too quick. So because it's going too quick, you're applying again the brakes. You see? So there are 3 corrections going on right here. Feeling that the car is going too slow, feeling that the car is going too quick, and then feeling like the car is going too slow once again. So because of these, you're kind of dancing with the brake. And it all starts because you try to brake very late, very hard, and it's very hard to, to actually nail the speed. So what I would encourage you to do is to basically do this. You're going to be braking a bit earlier, a bit softer, hold it constant, and then trail brake more into the corner, okay? You want to focus on this feeling of keeping the brakes engaged in the top part. This is going to be key for these GT cars. Let me add one more thing to the discussion. When you're dropping the brakes like this, going up and down, the weight in the car is moving forward and backward, like the weight transfer. You put a lot of weight initially on the front tires, but then you release it. You get that weight back on the rears. But then you apply it again. You push that weight back. You're not using all the 4 tires at the maximum of the ability, whether you're doing this up and down or you will just spiking too much and overheat the tires. But when you're keeping like a constant pressure and you're not spiking this hard to trigger the ABS, because we see 1 ABS engagement, 2, 3 engagement of the ABS in the top. When you're minimizing a little bit the ABS, then you will also have more turn in, and you will also keep, the weight on the front end better. And also, you kind of have this tendency of pushing the throttle too early. We're going to talk about this because it happens in all the corners. We kind of overlap the inputs as well. But look, you're pressing the gas here. You see, you already have 5% on the gas. Okay. This is so early. Like your apex point is, you see your apex point is here at the curb. So we are so early on the gas because we slow the car down too much. Because we're too early on the gas, we're losing rotation at the wrong point in the corner. So it doesn't matter the driver that presses the throttle first. It matters when that driver is able to reach 100%. So for example, right now, we have your shape, which is like this. And another driver, I'm going to put it with blue, might do this instead. Might be on the gas later, let's say here, but go like this. The blue line is going to be faster, even if he goes on the gas later, because you're measuring when the driver reaches 100% throttle. It's this moment in time T1 versus the moment in time T2. And because T1 is smaller than T2, it means this guy is the winner. So I want you to think about your throttle as, always going up. A little bit of modulation here in the beginning, yeah, sure, because you might have some TC involvement or some wheel spin in some other cars. You can modulate here a little bit, but generally you want to always go up. Now, why do you do this? What's the root cause of this? Because everything happens for a reason, and fixing the root cause will help you a lot more, because you can understand the theory, but if you don't know the root cause, it's going to be very difficult to fix. Well, the root cause is how you feel the speed. It's a sensation. You feel like the car is slow at the wrong point in the corner. So if you feel like the car is slow here, you're going to press the throttle. But if you force more speed into the corner, it's going to be impossible for you to press the throttle at the wrong point in the corner. Like if you feel like right now you should still be on the brake, still braking, and now press the gas because, the car was going too quick, you will never press the gas earlier before, right? It's impossible because you have to slow the car down more. So what we need to do is to push more speed into the corner. What we need to do is to control that speed with the trail brake. Because right now, if you look at your brake, you see you kind of drop the brakes completely from this point onward. You go straight down. So let's try this instead. I'm going to put it with blue. We're going to brake earlier. We're going to brake softer. We're going to trail brake for longer. Okay. And now I'm going to put it with white, the throttle input. We will go on throttle like this, and we will be earlier on the gas. See? This is what we need to do in this corner. So basically, in order to make it work, even if you understand the theory of the throttle, the theory of the brake, you understand the root cause of the issue, you need one more thing to make it work, and that's the reference. You need a reference for throttle in this corner, because race cars are better at decelerating rather than accelerating. So in most of the cases, you will press the throttle slightly bit earlier than the apex, but not as early as right now. So when you're watching a guide of a lap, or you're watching a faster lap of another driver, when you're studying the track, I want you to pay even more attention to the point where that driver is pressing the throttle. Because if you know that at this point in time you should be on the gas, then you will kind of adapt your trail brake and your speed into the corner so that you can match this point to press the throttle at this point in time. But if you don't know this, you might be pressing it too late or too early. Okay?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Here, something interesting is happening though. You're braking, and now you're already on the gas. You notice? You have this overlap, big overlap here first, then you have an overlap all the way when you're braking through this part, and also when you are, going off the brakes. There's still the overlap there. So there are possible reasons for this overlap happening. I want to list them all so you have a better understanding of what's going on. The first reason, maybe you need to add more dead zone in your throttle. Maybe you're just tensing up your right foot while you're braking and you accidentally press on the gas. It could be a case.
Maybe.
Yeah. The number two reason could be your throttle pedal is a little bit too close to your foot. It might be the case, it might be not. And the third, which could be a real issue for you, is the feeling of speed. Because once again, if you kind of feel, if your brain feels like the speed of the car is too low, you're decelerating too much, you will try to release brakes quickly and you'll try to press the throttle. And I think in a way this might be happening. So it might be a factor of these three. And the way we're going to fix it is, first of all, you're decelerating way, way too quickly. Like, look, you're pressing the gas here, but look at your approach. You see, you have to drop it. What we need to do instead is this. You're going to be braking. I'm going to put the brake with blue. You're going to be braking, but it's clear that this throttle point is too early. Do you agree? Because then you have to drop it here.
Yeah.
So it was way too early.
Exactly.
So first, we need to know our throttle reference, right? So we need to know when to press the throttle. That's about studying the track. But when you know this, and let's say your throttle point should be actually here, let's say it's here, you will basically push more speed into the corner so that you don't feel the need to go on the throttle earlier than that point. You see, it's the same discussion, but from another angle. So instead of braking this hard, you're going to be braking like this. You see? So you're going to be pushing more speed in the corner. Brake a bit softer initially, trail brake way longer. And now I'm going to put it with green. You go on the gas and you actually go earlier on the gas. Yeah. You see, in this example, in the good example, there is no overlap between the brake and the throttle. We press the gas, we wait for the gas to go to 0, then we press the brakes. Where in this one, we're pressing the throttle, we're releasing the throttle, we're pressing the brake, but there's a bit of overlap going on from the brake and throttle. That's overlap number 1, but also here, overlap number 2. So once again, this will, what will happen is that your tires has 2 layers, the core layer and the surface layer. So this is core, this is surface. When you're overheating the tire by either triggering the ABS, using a little bit too much inputs, or overlapping the throttle and brake inputs, this surface level of the tire will spike up in terms of temperatures. So when this happens, you will basically get less grip mid-corner. That's one of the things. So you will have less performance in the car. This will cool off a little bit if you have a big straight, but it will also build up the temperature overall. So because the temperature is building up, you will feel like you're killing your tires. So we want to work on not eliminating it because it's difficult. Let's start by minimizing it. Like doing 10% less. Even doing 10% less is going to be a good starting point, all right? You have to drop the throttle and then apply the brakes. So it's going to feel like you're braking a little bit earlier. But even if you're doing an overlap, man, it's not going to be the end of the world. Don't get me wrong. Like you will see 5-6K drivers doing this. And it's not the end of the world. But in your case, the problem is that you sometimes have too much. Like in your case, it's kind of like this. It's a bit too much. But also, you get some throttle activation or throttle ghost inputs around here, like this. I'm over-exaggerating. So if you start by removing this part right here and a little bit less in this part, just 10% less, you should be already seeing some gains, okay? This is perfection.
Okay.
Like what I showed you here is perfection. Our goal is not perfection. Our goal is slight improvement to this, okay? You see you're going like this. So let's take this staircase shape because I want you to be 100% confident about what's good and what's not good. So we don't want to go up and then down and then again up. This is a big no-no. We don't want to progress slowly with the gas, like in a staircase pattern like this. This is a big no-no. We don't want to modulate in the top part too much. Like you arrive at the top part and then you start modulating and you go back to the top. No. You want a slight modulation in the beginning and then always going up. This is the ideal, always going up. Okay? So if you find yourself getting away from the ideal way of staying on the throttle by doing the staircase pattern, by doing the ups and downs, you know, then it means that the braking was not done properly. Okay, we need to rethink the entry in the corner. Maybe the braking, maybe the turning, but we shouldn't reinforce this this habit because our brains are really, really smart. They are incredible. But if you do something wrong long enough, they will pick up as a good habit or as a habit, even though it's not good. So if we drive like this, even though we're making the corner, but we're driving like this, it's just gonna force some bad habits down the way. What I want you to try in this corner is bite the bullet and try to do, I'm gonna put it with blue, try to do this instead. Always go up. And if the car track is wider, like if you end up in the gravel or not making the corner, then you will know and your brain will know this is bad. But if you're kind of making your way around the lap with these kinds of throttle behaviors, your brain will think, oh, okay, it works because I'm doing the laps. So it's not going to feel urgent for you to do the change. So when you're practicing, because in the race, of course, if this happens, it happens. It's a race. We won't crash on purpose in a race just to prove a point. But in practice sessions, bite the bullet and try to do the proper driving technique in terms of the inputs. And if you crash, you just reset. Use the active reset feature, just go back, but reinforce the good driving habits. So a small tip for this corner is also important because it leads to a decent straight up until turn 1. And if you're following someone in the race, you need to be close in turn 1 so that you can slipstream and get the move done in Lecombe. So in order to get this right, I want you to play with your vision in this corner. Looking here is not good. If your eyes are here, you're already losing time. This is the biggest mistake in this corner. People looking at this point on the track. No, you have, like, it's critical for you to look here. Okay?
Wow. Like late apex.
Yes, you need to look here. If you're not looking here, you will always turn early. So you need kind of this line, like this. You need to be cutting very late so you can be aggressive on your throttle on your way out and gain time on the exit in this chicane. So if you're going to be looking at the curb here, your line will be, you'll go wide and you'll have to modulate the gas, you see. So it all changes with the way that you look. Look later in the corner, and when the car is getting closer and closer and closer, you will move your focal point more towards the exit, so that you're kind of going through the dots when you're getting closer. But you need to have a proper vision in a corner like this. This is not an easy corner because you also have the A pillar blocking a little bit as you get closer to it. So everything happens also quickly in this corner. You're turning the steering wheel quickly. There's not a lot of time to look. That's why it's important to first fixate your view later, and then the car will hopefully follow. And on average, it's going to be a lot quicker. So yeah, man, all in all, I think you have a lot of potential, but we need to take them step by step. So this was the session. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. If you want to take your skills to the next level, check out my website. You can also enroll in my academy. This is something new that I released with group coaching sessions, workshops, a lot of things going weekly, so you can see those improvements on a week-to-week basis. So if you're interested into that, the academy link is in the description. But anyways, thanks for being part of the channel. I'm always trying to bring here as much value as I can. And hopefully this was one of those videos.